Let's run it. Welcome back. IG Live number 11 with Josh, Eli's TXC. We're going to figure out how to pronounce his last name. Just worked with social influencers and celebrities and built 9-figure businesses. So just going to dive into his story, learn a little bit about him. As always, shout out the first couple people that joined. So Tavon, thanks for joining us. Max Solomon, thanks for joining. Ryan Beers, Cody Yaunt, thank you all for joining in. Make some conversation in the comments while we wait for Josh. I'm going to send him a little invite. Let's see. Engelman, thanks for joining in. There's Josh. Angel, thanks for jumping in. Let's run it. There he is.
What's going on, baby?
At the airport right now?
Yeah, I'm looking for my Uber. Uber.
Do you know the license plate?
Yeah, I think it's Snow.
Ooh, I like that. A little flex on the live.
A little flex.
Cool, man. Well, I'm glad we were able to put this together. You're a busy man. Literally getting off an airplane and jumping on the IG Live. Love it.
That's how we do it, baby. 24 hours, no sleep.
Stop it. 8 hours of sleep every day. It's the secret. Dude, the thing is, you're actually someone that shares a lot on social. The concept behind these is like, I have interesting conversations with fascinating people. I wish other people could be a part of it, and not everyone shares on social. Fortunately for you, you share a lot on social. So what I hope to do by the end of this is distill all the information you're putting out to like the really, really good stuff.
I like that.
So who are you, Joshy the Snowman? What do you
fraud.
do?
I'm a fraud.
Besides stealing clothes.
That's right. Yeah, I'm a professional shoplifter and sugar baby coach. No, I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I've been starting businesses for about 12 years now. Some have been, most have not been very successful, and some have been ultra successful in the tens of millions, and now we're going to the hundreds of millions. Maybe one day I'll make it to the billions if I live long enough. We'll see. But yeah, I've been focused on e-commerce, software. My background, I started as a programmer, moved that into design, moved into marketing, sales, copywriting, and then into e-commerce as a means to build a brand, but still in the software space. I'm still in the lead generation space. And then the most popular of our companies that most people know is Snow, just because we avalanche the market, so to speak. It's a rocket ship, and everybody has teeth, so we can sell to everybody. So that's the one that we kind of lead with on the front end marketing. A lot of people don't know I own a few different brands that are, some of them just as big as Snow, but they're just more specific and boring, so they're not fun to talk about. So we usually lead with Snow.
Got it. Okay, so this is what I find fascinating. When I first saw you pop up, it was on my Facebook feed. It was maybe 2-3 years ago, and at that time, you were dressing professional. You were giving a lot of speeches I think at your school, maybe. How do you think things have changed, like just over the last 3 years?
That's a good question. This guy almost picked up the wrong guy. I guess you do kind of look like me, minus the hat. All right. Uber thief.
Uber everywhere.
I just caught an Uber thief live, trying to steal my ride. What's going on, bro? How's it going? Yeah. So, what was your question again? How things have changed?
And just in the last 3 years, like you said, you've been doing things for 12 years, but like in the last 3, I look at the first Facebook profile picture I saw, or like one of the first pictures I saw you post on Facebook, and then what you're posting now, and it's a drastic change. So like, who were you just 3 years ago, and how have things changed over the last 3 years?
Well, I used to be a woman.
Stop it. And right now it's pitch black.
uh, yeah, right. It's okay. You don't want to see my ugly face. We'll get some light in here eventually once we leave the airport. But
Deal.
yeah, how have things changed? So, well, what I realized is that as we move more toward consumer products, you can't follow the CEO. I mean, you could follow the CEO of Crest, but you can't follow like the founder of Crest or Colgate. And I realized that consumers want to, they want to humanize a brand. They want to know who they're buying from, and that's why you see celebrities like Kylie and Anastasia in Beverly Hills, and that's in the beauty space. But you see, celebrities and influencers creating brands and being really successful with it because there's a story there, there's a connection, and so that's when I started to kind of start to share more about what we were doing. And the other thing too is um, people usually like wait until so that they either share a lot of stuff because they have like courses to sell and they're not like really building a brand,
Mhm.
which doesn't mean they're not bad teachers, whatever, but or they're so busy building a brand that they wait until they sell it or they're older and then they start teaching. And I was like, what if I could teach like real time? Like I'm like right now, I literally just hopped off the plane and I'm gonna hop on another plane, tomorrow to LA for another event. And so it's like, what if I could teach at the same time while I'm actually doing it and kind of include everybody in the story of like David versus Goliath and like, and kind of see what happens from that and just this raw, uncut view of it. So that's what I started doing, 3 years ago is started to share that journey from, the first version of Snow, the first $1 million, like just sharing those milestones so that the community is involved. And, the truth is 99% of our customers have no idea who I am, probably like 99.9. But from the entrepreneurship community, within the entrepreneurship community, it's really started to take off. And I've actually been able to, recruit great team members from all over the world because of it. I've been able to get, people have been incredible in like introducing me to retailers and, and obviously buying the product, supporting the business. That's always nice. But, further than that, they've come back and said, the way you teach, the way you speak is just like so different. And I think it's because I combine really old world strategies, because that's really where I learned from John D. Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan, Cornelius Vanderbilt. Like I study the titans of industry, and then I combine that with today's kind of fast moving social media landscape, e-commerce. And I think it creates a unique blend of like a really old soul and a young body. And so sometimes I kind of look at myself and I'm like, where's this like wizard like come from? Like I'm a split personality or something. But I use it to my advantage because I've been doing this. 12 years isn't a lot of time in a grand scheme of things, but when you're 26 years old and it's all you've ever known, and in this world, it is a lifetime because 12 years ago, I mean, shit, Instagram wasn't even here 12 years ago.
Yeah. Dude, I think you're actually like, you're an intellectual businessman previously, now hiding as a cool business entrepreneur. But previously, like, of course, someone calls me while I'm on my live, and I have Do Not Disturb on my phone right now. 3 years ago, like, I saw you, I watched your videos of you giving speeches, and I feel like you just switched up your style a little bit. Now you took on, maybe it's easier to speak to the people and for them to relate to you with this new style that you have. Versus prior, you were extremely intellectual, like not just like in the way that you spoke, but the way that you looked, the places that you were at. Now you're cool and hip.
Well, a caterpillar eventually spreads its wings. So, if only I could get a little bit better looking, I think things would be great.
Okay, so okay, actually, when's the vlog? Because you just said that like you're sharing your story and everything, but you do micro sharing, at least from what I see. So I want to know when the vlog's coming out, when the podcast is starting. Are you going to expand beyond what you're currently doing for your personal brand?
Yeah, I think I have to, because people like people have been demanding it. I've been speaking. I've spoken at like 50 events in the last 12 months,
Mhm.
and we've also experienced record growth in all the companies. And the team is, tripled in size, and like everything. Like I'm trying to make sure that my businesses don't suffer as a result of me touring and sharing and doing that. But I really found I'm starting to find a rhythm where I'm about to light the world on fire with it, because I found the rhythm where I could grow the businesses at an astonishing rate. Um, not abandon them in replacement for teaching or for speaking or anything like that. I found the rhythm where it's actually supplemental. So, instead of watching 4 hours of Game of Thrones every night, I'm teaching, or I'm speaking, or I'm traveling, or I'm reading and writing, or I'm, creating memes, or like, I'm creating content. So I think one thing that is interesting is that two of my guys from Australia decided to move here to Scottsdale, and one of them's a videographer and a photographer. So, he was like, dude, because I told him, I was like, oh, Thursday I'm going to buy a new car,
Mhm.
and he's like, you should be vlogging that. And I was like, oh, I never even thought of that. He's like, yeah, people want to see, like, not just because you buy a new car, but like they want to see, like, what do you do throughout the day? Like, you're jumping from state to state to state, and like you're talking to these people, and you're doing this. Like, what is going on behind the scenes? And I thought I was sharing enough, like when I go on stage and stuff, but
Mhm.
there's a lot that people can learn from the intricacies and the micro content in between the stages. So I see a value in that, and then it also chronologues, um, my life, and not that I really care about it from an ego perspective, because the whole point about building a brand that doesn't have my face on it is so that if people don't like me or whatever it is, like we still succeed, and like
Mhm.
I can literally get hit by a Lambo and die, and the business continues. Like that's the whole reason. It's not about me, but I realize there's a competitive advantage on the brand side of humanizing it and being real and raw. And then entrepreneurs are coming to me and saying like dude, like just like what you just said here, what you said here, like it actually like legitimately helped me. Or every time I go speak at an event, and I get paid $0 to do this, by the way. I do it for free. I pay for my own flights. So like I do this because I really enjoy doing it, and it helps me refine my craft. It helps me summarize what I'm learning and what I'm doing, and reflect on it in those moments. It's my own version of meditation. And so if anything, I'm happy to pay to do that. But I found that people are like, you're the most profound speaker I've ever heard, or like, I've been going to this event for years, and then you popped up and I was about to stop coming here, and like, where are you going next? Like, I want to go there. And like, so I'm realizing that, um, ego aside, it's like, I can actually help people. And I'm like, oh shit, like, this is actually helpful. Like, really? And they're like, yeah, this is hugely helpful for my mindset. So then I was like, you know what? I'm like, as long as I don't lose track of the business growth and everything that we're doing, I will gladly give up my Game of Thrones and everything else to like help people out and chronologue that and do that. Like I'm more than happy to do that, because actually I do enjoy it. Like selfishly, I really do enjoy it. And I try to be as raw. And I think there's a benefit to me building real businesses at the exact same time that I'm teaching and creating content, because I have a real life experiment that's happening in front of me that I can share. And it's like never ending content, never ending stuff that's going on, versus like talking about it when I'm 78 years old. And I'm like, oh, in 1994, I was doing a deal with Nordstrom and blah, blah, blah. That's useful too. Like I read those things, but it's kind of cool to see it while it's happening.
For sure. Instead of watching Game of Thrones, you're playing the game of life.
That's right. Sitting on my throne, baby.
Hey, it reminds me of almost like seriously, it reminds me of like how people watch gamers on Twitch because they're aspiring gamers, or they just like the gamer's personality or their commentary, or they get to feel like they're in that person's shoes. Maybe it's like the world's best gamer, and that's why they're watching because that person's so good. And so they're like, dang, I want to be in his shoes. Like that's not me yet, but like I can sort of like act like it is because I'm watching him play. And maybe that's sort of kind of what you're doing too, is people get to like role play through you.
That's a good analogy. I think I haven't really thought of it in that way. Esports. The guy that built my last house was one of the founders of the Food Network channel, and I asked him like, how did you foresee like that being a success? Like people watching other people cook and they can't smell it, they can't taste it. And um, he was like, well, as women started to enter the workforce more and more and carry jobs, they were less likely to like cook. And fast food took off in the 60s and 70s and 80s. So it's easier to get a big bucket of KFC and bring it to your kids. So they lost that touch of cooking. And so it was therapeutic and, a way to, as a form of escapism, to watch someone else cook, and it's therapeutic. And now you see esports, you see all this stuff going on where it's oftentimes more exciting to see someone else do it. In fact, if you look at the gladiator times, people would go in there and like you're not in there fighting a lion, like you're watching someone else do it, and that adrenaline rush from doing it. And so I think that the more raw and uncut, like for example, I like watching the UFC MMA fights, like because it's closer to raw. Like the best is like a really good street fight right in front of you, right? But that's like, you got to walk around the right areas to catch enough of those, or you got to watch like World Star or Live League. But like those, like the more raw and uncut it is, the more like realistic and adrenaline is pumping through your veins. And so I try to be that raw and adrenaline. Like I don't have to yell at you like Gary Vee or like some guys. Like some guys will just scream at you and be like, "You need to be successful." You need like. I get it. That's like that gets people going sometimes. It's like a military style, but it's really not that intense. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like I have bigger businesses than a lot of the people that yell at people, and I'm like, why are they so mad? Or like, why are they so like? It's stressful. It's hard, but I'm like, yo, chill. Like it's everything's gonna be okay. Like
Relax.
I kind of want to know like, how's your business now? Like, let me consult you for a day or something. Like, there's got to be something going on where you're so pissed off all the time. So for me, like. It's not that difficult to it's complex, but it's actually not difficult. The difficult part is persistence. So if you can persist through difficulty, and I always tell people to chase difficulty, and I think that's one of the marquee like pillars of my success is that I'm constantly seeking difficulty. I'd like my competitors to be healthy, and sometimes I'll give them my food just so that they're healthier. And like it's I don't know if it's right or wrong, but it makes me a better competitor. And like nobody wants to like run a race where they're 1,000 feet in front of everybody. Like I want my competitors to be neck and neck, because I can compete with myself all day, but I like to see other people win too. Like I like to see my friends win. Like I have this abundant mindset that I'm very proud of because it took me a long time to build this mindset because I started with nothing. I had what they call a poverty mindset, scarcity mindset, and I've had to evolve. And as a result of becoming more abundant, being more raw, sharing everything, not hiding stuff, I've made more money than ever before. Like we're growing faster than ever before. I have more friends than ever before. Like it just, everything is compounded on itself. And it seems counterintuitive that the more you share and the more you give and the more like, a lot of people are afraid to even share their idea. Like people hit me up and they're like, yo, I have 10 NDAs for you to sign to look at it. I'm like I charge like 5,000 an hour for my time. I'm going to look at it for free because I want to help you out. And now I got to sign 10 NDAs for, let me guess, another social network or another this. I'm like, who cares? The idea does not matter. You think we're the first oral care company?
Right.
Or we're the first teeth whitening product? Like that doesn't matter. It's like, it just relax a little bit and open up. And that for me has been the biggest transformation in the last 5 years, is just becoming abundant minded.
I love that. Rising tides, all boats rise.
Yachts, baby, yachts.
All yachts rise.
All yachts rise, baby.
Okay, so wait. I want to throw it back real quick because I only went back like I was talking to like visually when I think of when I first saw you, it was probably 3 years ago on Facebook. But like, who were you like even 12 years ago when you were first getting started? But maybe even beyond that, like who were you as a kid? Were you nerdy? Were you into sports? Did you have friends? Did you not have friends? Who were you growing up?
I was a nobody, Steven. Don't take me back to no, I'm just kidding. I was a jock. I played football, track and field.
Actually,
but yeah, volleyball in middle school. Like I've always, you got to keep in mind I'm like 6'4" or whatever. Or if you find my dating profile, I probably put 6'5" on there. Which everybody under 6 feet is like, why do you got to take an extra inch? Like that's for us to take. But anyway, um, so being tall just naturally led me to like, they pushed me into basketball, they pushed me into football,
Mhm.
and I was good at it and I enjoyed it. So I was playing sports, but I was also a geek. So it's like it's a weird combination, or not weird, it's a lucky combination, because I got along with, you know, like, and I was also in drama class, not in high school, but like the first year of high school, but I was in drama class before.
Yep.
Since I was in second grade, I was acting in plays. I played multiple instruments. So I was in music class, but I was also playing football. And then I was in student government. So it's like a mix of like everything. And it allowed me to like talk to like everybody and be cool with everybody. So I think, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I think in my school, I graduated valedictorian as well from my high
Mhm.
school. So it was like, he's a cool, I'm speaking for them, I guess. I would hope they would say that dude's pretty cool and that dude's pretty smart and like he's chill and he's nice. Like I hope that that's what people took away from that, because that's what my intention was, to be nice to everybody, because I got along with everybody. Like I liked hanging out with the quote unquote geeks. Like I like hanging out with the drama kids. I like hanging out with the football jocks. I like hanging out with the student government people. I like everybody. Like I had fun with everyone. So for me, I had a very diverse upbringing because I liked a lot of stuff, and I kind of was used to putting a lot of stuff on my plate, and that's why I think I'm able to get so much done.
This guy says, Josh, you were the shit in high school and you were
Anyway.
funny as fuck.
Oh, nice, nice. Did you pay him to say that, Steven?
I don't know him. 007
Oh,
Noel.
oh
Um,
wow. Oh yeah. What's up? Very
okay,
cool.
so one sec. When was there ever a light bulb moment for you? Like you seem like extremely well rounded.
Second building.
Extremely well rounded. Did a light bulb go off in your head, or do you think this has just been progressive and like you've consistently like felt challenged, and over time like it's
That
had a
built that door up there.
snowball effect? Did a light bulb go off, or
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, hold on. I'm gonna get out of I had a really nice driver. I would
tell
be
me I'll say
pissed if.
thank you and
Yeah,
have a
we
good
all
night.
say thank you, by the way. We all say thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you too. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess there was a light bulb moment. So, like, when I was in middle school or whatever, and like prior to that, I was like the class clown. So I didn't get really good grades up until like seventh grade,
Mhm.
because I don't know. I think I was bored. Honestly, I think school came a little bit easier for me than other people.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna be honest. Like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Um, and I think that's because I had a really strict dad. Um, and so my dad's an immigrant from Europe. He's from Spain, and in Europe, like the schools when he went to school, like they studied a lot harder. They had a lot more homework. Like they just, and math. My dad is like math and science heavy. And so growing up, my dad's like, "How do you not know multiplication?" I'm like, "Dad, I'm 4," and he's like that's not acceptable. So like for me, there was like that high expectation
Mhm.
to be good in school, and so like my dad was always pushing, even though he was working all the time. Like I come from very very humble beginnings, um, but there was just that expectation. The other thing too is I'm the youngest, youngest in my family, and none of my siblings graduated high school, and I'm the youngest. So there was this expectation where like, Josh, you have to graduate high school, you have to go to college because no one else did, and it's like it was kind of like, well, what do I want? You know what I mean? It was like there's this expectation. I'm like, I'm supposed to be a doctor, and like what do I want? And so I
Mhm.
didn't know about entrepreneurship, and I think there was a switch that happened when I was in seventh grade, where I was making the class, laugh, like I was making class count or whatever, and I made a joke one time, and I looked around, and like nobody was laughing, and I was like, and they were kind of irritated. You can kind of just sense like you make a joke and it's kind of too much, and like people are like, and so that moment stuck with me, because I remember thinking like, being the class clown, getting bad grades. Teachers are always saying like, Josh, you're so smart if you apply yourself. I'm like, being a class clown's not going to get me anywhere. Like I should apply myself. So I started like focusing on homework more, turning in my stuff. Like I really started to turn that around, because I felt like no one was going to help me, and like it was getting crunch time, and it was getting close to high school where my brothers and sisters didn't make it through. So I was like, I have to figure this stuff out. So I started applying myself at the end of 7th grade, started getting straight A's, you know, staying after schools to study, asking the teacher questions. And I went from being like, I mean, teachers liked me, but they were just annoyed, like, ah, oh, Josh, like, stop, to literally like becoming friends with my teachers and like, you know, and telling them what I was doing. And when I started building websites in 9th grade, like, they were the only ones that I could tell. Half of them believed me, the other half didn't. They would just like kind of pat me on my head. But the ones that believed in me would like actually refer me clients, and like they wanted to see me win. And once you have like people believe in you like that, like outside, and they want to see you win, you have a stakeholder in your success, and you have this responsibility to all of a sudden like not fuck up. You know what I mean? And then they're my friends, and if the teachers are my friends, so if I'm like being rude to them, it's weird. And so I think that was the start of me learning how to learn. And then when I realized reading, because I liked reading when I was like younger, and I've always been a good reader, but like I didn't want to read. Like I only had to read because it was an assignment in class, and I'd rather read the Spark Notes, honestly. So for me, once I started reading and realizing that I can read and I can learn stuff, and like it doesn't matter that I grew up without money, because if I read this stuff, I'll know as much as someone else, and the books are free, they're at the library. I was like, oh shit, at one point I remember feeling like Harry Potter, like discovering a wand, and like I had this wand where I could literally print money from the internet. And once I realized that, I'm like, holy shit, they don't care that I'm 14 years old, that I'm Hispanic, that I came from a poor family, or, you know, no one is seeing this. Like, I'm like looking around like nobody. And I'm like, well, shit, I'm going to run with this. And that for me was like that moment where I was like, no one's going to give me anything in life. I could feel sad for myself and end up, you know, in the streets, or I can do something about it right now. And that was a moment for me. And I still catch myself. Like, honestly, I wake up every day, and even though I live where I live and I have all the cars and all that shit, you know, I still wake up like that broke kid on the city bus with a big dream. And at the end of the day, nothing gives me more happiness. Like the delta for happiness for me was going from a city bus to like my first 1992 like Camry. Like that was like from here to way up here, because it was like independence. It was like I paid for it with my own money. It was like my car, and like that happiness is great versus like I just bought a new Bentley and it's like, oh nice, it's got a I don't know, massage seats now. Like that thing is like, it's nice. Oh, it's a different color. Or like, oh, I live in a slightly nicer place, but the other place was just fine. And like that kind of pursuit of more and more and more, I don't get the happiness from that. The best happiness was like, I remember when I first was able to buy my own school supplies and like buy my own shoes and like buy my own underwear and socks. Like for me, that was when I was I mean, I'm the happiest right now, but that was like the biggest jump from like here to way up here. Now it's just like a little bit, which is why I think it's addicting, because you want to keep growing your business, and it's not about spending money. Like I'm wearing a $10 like H&M shirt, and like, you know, for me, it's like, and by the way, you'll see me in like a $800 Givenchy shirt, and the next day you'll see me in a $3 Forever 21 shirt. I really don't give a shit. But for me, it's not about the material things, and you hear this all the time. I say get rich first and see if the materials are for you. Because everyone's like, oh, money doesn't buy you happiness. Get it. Like, go make some. Like, go make a lot of money. And then see if you're happy. Like, see what you can do to buy happiness. Like, it certainly helps. I mean, it may not buy happiness directly, but I can tell you where I live, and having concierge and valet, and like having people that do my dry cleaning and clean my house and take care of my dog, and like flying first class or flying private is certainly a lot more convenient. Like, I'm not going to lie. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why we work so hard and we treat ourselves for convenience. But what's weird is I found myself spending money now so I can work more, which is weird. Like I'm flying private so I can get to the other place so that I can work more. I'm buying a faster computer so I can do more emails. Like I found myself leveling up in that way, which I guess, you know, to each his own.
Dude, Jim Carrey quote. He says, I wish everyone could get rich and famous so that they could figure out that that's not the answer. Yeah,
I know, but I'll tell you what, getting rich, I don't know about famous, because I work with a lot of celebrities now, and I'm okay if I'm famous amongst like entrepreneurs or like intellectuals. I think That's different. But if you look at like Kim Kardashian, she's worth what, 200 million. You know, she's literally the most popular person on earth, like literally. So you take her and she's worth 200 million. That's not a lot. Like, I mean, for what she has to go through, like she can't go anywhere without getting bombarded. 200 million bucks. Now, of course, if you could snap your finger and have that, of course, she has a lot of power and all that. But I would rather be worth, like John Paul DeJoria, who founded Patron Tequila and Paul Mitchell Cosmetics. He's worth probably 8 billion cash right now. And he could walk down the street. Like, the only people are gonna notice him is like me. I might like run up to him like, oh my God, like I'm like, dude, I appreciate everything that you shared and like your story. I'm inspired by it. So I'm like, that in terms of wealth versus fame. And the other thing I'll say is that money does give you options. You know, like when I was starting out, I had $0. So I had to take the city bus. We didn't have a computer at home. So I had to go to the library and I had 1 hour a day on the computer. I didn't have a choice. Now I could buy 10 computers and now I can be driven everywhere. And like, there's just that the optionality that financial freedom gives you, particularly over time. And the other thing that a lot of people don't talk about is like, I don't have to hang out with anyone I don't like. I don't have to do anything I don't like. That to me, like when I realized it, I was like, oh my God. Because for a while, like you have to kiss ass, you know, for the first like whatever 5 years of your entrepreneur life. You're like, God, I hate this guy, but I really need the money. I'm gonna do it. And like I hate him, or he's such an asshole. Like you have to deal with people sometimes in that way. Now, there's like 1 out of 100 times. Before it was like 50 out of 50 or 50 out of 100 that I do it. Now I'm like, this dude's an asshole. I don't hang out with him. Or like money makes you more of who you are. And it's made me more of just someone who is raw. I'm vulgar. You know, sometimes I cuss, but it's allowed me to become myself to the highest degree without worrying what people think about me. And that seems to attract a certain crowd, and that crowd will either stick with me or not. If I don't like them, I'm like, you're not invited anymore. I don't want to hang out with you anymore. Or I don't want to do business with you. And I turn down millions of dollars a year of business, which might sound stupid, but it makes room for even bigger deals with people I do like.
Mm-hmm. Quick Joel hit. All right,
this is not Joel. Look,
what is that? Max?
I don't know. My buddy gave it to me. It's called Glass. I don't know. It's like a super jewel or something.
10 times horsepower. Okay, so we made it through like the thick of it. I've got 3 hard-hitting questions, and then it's a wrap. 3 questions, really important questions. Think a little bit about them if you have to. Pause a little bit. These are the last questions. We're done here. The first is recurring themes throughout life. Are you home right now, by the way? Did you just get home?
Yeah, I'm gonna walk in so I get rid of this air or the wind. 1 second.
The first question is recurring theme throughout your life, whether it was when you were playing sports, or you were playing instruments, or starting your failing your first
business, Zach?
Starting your first successful business. Recurring theme in the greatest and the worst times in your life. What has been your one superpower?
My one superpower. I think that my ultimate superpower is that I force my mind to do things that are difficult. Like I don't know, I chase difficulty, and then when I face difficulty, even the hardest times, whether it be a lawsuit or a bad business partner, like anything, I just remind myself, like, I was on the city bus 10 years ago, and like I didn't have any money. Like all this, like you could take everything from me and I can build it again. It's like that I remind myself that, and that keeps me in the game and being able to focus in the heat of the moment. And so I would say, I would boil it down to this: when, because the truth is things do not get easier, but you can get better, which makes them seem easier. And so for me, I realized that. And so I'm constantly trying to level up my character in the game, which is me. It's personal development, health, like the people I'm with, getting more done, etc. But I also tie that with when things are difficult, I have to get better. And so when the heat gets turned up, a lot of times I just become better. And like I'm a professional procrastinator. I can't be now because I just got so much shit going on that I'm always behind. So I guess I am procrastinating, but like everything's behind. So I'm always getting shit done. But I was a professional procrastinator in university. I finished university in 2 years. And I did that by being a professional procrastinator. And the only way a procrastinator can use his full power is by stacking with so much shit that you're always behind, so that you're constantly getting shit done. Otherwise, the task will fill the time that it's allotted. And so if you have two things. You can either decrease the time and keep the same amount of task, or you can increase the task in the same amount of time. Well, I figured there's 24 hours. I might as well fill that motherfucker up with stuff. So I'm constantly procrastinating because I'm always behind. And that's something that I figured out that works for me. Everybody's different. I wish I was more of a planner. I wish I could be more of a ready, aim, fire. I'm just like fire, 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 aim, fire, 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 and I'm always ready. And there's benefits to that, and there are also negatives to that. That's why my team around me has to be the ready, aim type, because they have to come behind me and clean up the mess sometimes I make. Or, you know, the risk, I have a really high risk profile. So I'll be like, yo, we're doing a test with the fuck Jerry guys, throw 100,000 at it. And they're like, how, like, really? Like, what are we doing? I don't know. I have a good feeling about it. Just go. Right. And like, we don't track the measurement. We're not tracking ROI. I feel good about it. Go. And when I'm the boss, they go with it, but they're all like, So every day my team is like, their stomachs turns upside down. Like, what did Josh do now? What is Josh up to now? But, you know, someone's got to do that. And I guess ultimately, you know, I'm taking the highest amount of risk as the entrepreneur. I don't pay myself a salary from Snow. So, you know, and I do that because I want to align myself with the mission and the goal of the company. And I'm taking the ultimate risk, because if this company does not succeed or it fails, everybody else got their salary, right? I'm walking away with nothing. If it succeeds, hopefully I walk away with something, but I'm willing to take that bet.
Yeah. So superpower is persistence?
Persistence through difficulty. Yeah.
I like that. All right. Question number 2. I'm going to hand you a magic wand. You have to take it.
Oh,
You
got it.
All
Got
right.
it.
You can wave that magic wand and change anything about your life. What do you change?
I'm going to change you, Steven. I'm just kidding. What would I change? Anything about my life? Now, is this realistic? Can I say I would like the
You can't
ability
say
to
you would be Shaquille.
freeze time?
You can say whatever you want, but like if you were to say I want to be Shaquille O'Neal, that's a little unfair. But like just looking back at your life, or even in the present moment, maybe there's some things that you wish you could just wave a wand and change them.
Well, in the past, it would be think bigger, because I didn't think that I would be this successful. And I still feel like I'm a little peanut, but like, I think I wish I would have thought bigger and like thought longer term and like things like that. But that's in the past. I think right now, I can't, if I was telling the truth, I would say have more than 24 hours in a day. But the only way I can do that is by having a better and better team. And so, waving a wand to be able to attract really good talent, onto the team, that's the only way I'm able to multiply myself. So being able to wave that wand for whenever I need to hire someone and just be able to acquire the best people on the team, that to me would be to be able to assemble an army on command. I think would be great.
Just the easy button, you press it, you got a whole team. It's
The
all
easy button, baby.
All right, we did it. Last question, most important question of the entire IG Live. So everyone at home, drum roll right now. This is it. You ready?
Yeah.
First of all, wait. How do you say your last name?
Snow.
Stop. What? How do you say your last name? Elias Tixie?
Oh my God, that's a good one. Ilizechi.
Ilizechi. All right. When Josh Ilizechi dies, what will people say about him?
Never gonna die, baby. Never gonna die.
Freeze your body.
That's what's in here. That's what I smoke. Keeps me living forever.
If you die, what will people say about you?
Well, hopefully that guy was a fucking legend. In one way or another, that dude was that dude just fucking went hard on every aspect. Like, that dude's just full of life of the party, life of the business, optimistic, inspirational. Yeah, if they're just like, that dude is a fucking legend. The parties aren't the same without him. The business isn't the same without him. I want to be missed by the presence that I bring into the room, in one way, shape, or form. And maybe that's selfish to say, but I would hope to be missed at least temporarily for that. That's all I can ask for. I don't want to, like, I doubt, even if you like invent the light bulb, you're not going to be remembered for more than like 500 years. So I'm not looking to be remembered for that. I would like to impact as many lives as I can in a positive way, so that when I leave, I've left an impression, so that when I'm no longer there, it's reminisced in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can ask for.
I love that. Well, this is the end of the IG Live, so I'll miss you. Your energy on here was crazy, man. Thank you so much for coming on and making time. This is IG Live number 11. It shares to my audience and your audience while we're on live. So thank you to anyone from Josh's following that came and joined in and got to hear a little bit more about him. Content stays up for 24 hours. So I'm going to make sure to post. Most people come back and replay the content. Less people are on concurrently. So it'll be up for 24, and then that's it.
Are you able to download it?
I wish. I don't know. Instagram needs insights on IG Lives. I wish I could share it. I wish you could share it, but it's in its infancy.
So we can't download this. Steven, what are we doing here?
I like it. Dude, I like it because it makes it more intimate. So, like, there's a group of people in a group DM that join the IG Lives that know they're only up for 24 hours. So I think it makes people care more about it versus if it's just existing randomly on the internet. I really like it.
You're a wild man. I love it.
All right,
I
man.
love it.
Thanks for coming
on. All right,
on.
I'll talk to you later.
Sleep. All right.
No. Cheers. Bye.